Right. And as far as, again, because you've managed horses before, were you surprised that all of Baffert's owners said across the board, we're keeping our horses with Baffert, even though it precludes us from the Kentucky Derby? I personally was surprised that every single one of them. And look, that's a credit to Baffert and his racing team, because he obviously, has done well enough by them for them to say, we're going to eschew the opportunity to win the most important race up until the Breeders' Cup, arguably
150th Kentucky Derby too.
Yeah. And yet every single one of them stayed. I think that's tremendous. I think that as an owner, I applaud them for making that decision. I don't know if I would have made that decision. It's a tough thing to do. Would you, as a racing manager, would you have stayed with a trainer in that situation?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with one's financial position. And I'm not making any assumptions. I don't have a list of those people, but presumably a good percentage of them are quite well off financially. And that's not to suggest that winning a Derby would not have a meaningful impact on them financially. But if their horses don't go to the Derby, if they're good enough to have potentially won the Derby, they're going to be winning big races later in the season elsewhere. They'll have plenty of value. Even if they sacrifice some value, I can see why someone who's worth tens or hundreds of millions or more would who has strong feelings about, look, this Bob's my guy. He's done right by me. I think what Churchill, this is not me talking. I think that what Churchill has done is wrong, and I want to make my voice heard, and this is how I'm going to make it heard. Screw them. Even if my horse can't go to the Derby, I'm sticking with Bob. Yeah, I'm like you, John. I give them credit for having the the courage to do that. I'm only making the qualification that it's a lot easier to have that courage if you have a lot of money.
That's for damn sure. I think that's just a good sentiment for life in general. It's a lot easier to take bold stands on things if you're not worried about making rent the next month.